Hey, will you give me a cup of coffee, please? Hey, I got these pants. Can you wait and do the laundry once I take these pants off? Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Or do you want to do the grocery run and I'll just stay here and hang out, or you need me to do the grocery run? Man, I think I need to go to the doctor. Will you take me? I tell you what, why don't you pack up the inside, I'll do the outside, and we'll be ready to go. Have you ever thought about these things? Because we all do. And is this lifestyle for you? That's the big question. Because a lot of people paint this beautiful picture of, oh man, I'm gonna get on my motorcycle, out of my toy hauler, and I'm gonna ride around on these really cool roads and see all the beautiful canyons and trails, and we'll be doing all this stuff all the time. What is the reality of that? And what's it like to live in an RV? And I don't know that any of us know until we get going how we're going to react to doing it. But here's my take on it. So let's roll the intro. Welcome back. I'm Dave from Day One RV, and this subject I'm going to talk about today is kind of a touchy subject. A lot of people go into this with the thought that it's going to be an easy thing and that stuff will come naturally, and it's not that bad. But you have to go in with your eyes wide open if you're going to go full-time RV. And let's talk about some of the things people have asked me. Number one on the list is repairs. And every single RV is going to have problems. I went through some of the problems that I've had, but I haven't gone through all the little things, like the refrigerator not defrosting, or one of the slides in the bedroom not going in and out all the way, or the tires all needing to be replaced, or the wheel bearings needing to be greased, or a piece of trim up front that needs to be worked on, or the fender skirt that needs to be replaced, or trim on the inside that needs to be fixed, or a door that covers all the breakers that needs to be worked on. All those things that I've had to do myself, if you were to have to call an RV tech for every single one of those, it'd get expensive. So one of the things you need to do is, between you and if there's another person on board, to think about who's handy and who isn't. And if you're not handy, then how to get handy. There are things like the RV Training Academy in Texas, where National RV Training Academy, fantastic people. They do a great job. I actually bought the thumb drive from them and the manuals, and it's a great way to learn how the electrical system works, because I've had to work on that. I've had to work on the plumbing. There's been a lot of little things that I got out of their stuff that have been very, very critical. But I also was kind of handy going into this. So whether I can, and with my disabilities, whether I can do it totally myself, or if I can help somebody walk through it with me, then I can get it all done. I mean, even a couch. With this couch over here, my daughter was messing with it, and the whole side of it fell off, and we had to put a log underneath one of the sides to get it to stay level. So I've got to work on that. There's a lot of those kind of things that happen, and it's an RV. It goes through a hurricane and a earthquake every time you move from place to place. So be aware that there's a cost and that you need an education or a background in some mechanical working, and it's critical. Trip planning. Trip planning can get complicated, honestly. I use RV Trip Wizard, and a lot of the folks I bump into do too. And I'll put in major stops that I'm planning, and then I have to figure out where I'm going to go in between. How long am I going to take? Are there things I want to stop at and see? And complicating things are I work. So how do I do that on the weekends? How can I get from point A to point B on the weekend? Do I have to take a day off, like a Friday or a Monday, so that I can make it a long weekend and get to an extra place? I don't like to travel more than, I use the 3-3-3 rule a lot. Is number one is don't travel more than 3 hours. You'll find that 3 hours pulling an RV or driving a motorhome is like 5 hours in a car. So that's a bit. And if you don't get started early, it starts getting dark. So the second 3 is get there by 3 o'clock, because you need time to disconnect or whatever you're going to do to get set up to be at that whatever place you just picked. And then number 3 is to stay in a place where you can stay for more than a day or two, especially if you're going to disconnect, you're going to level, you're going to do all that stuff. Get everything out, make all the connections, and do all the setup. Because that planning is going to be critical on how you get from place to place. Do you have a rally that you need to get to? And do you have this that you want to do? Are there family members you want to visit? So you've got to get all those things in order. And then number 3 is setup. It is a bit to, like, I have a fifth wheel. It's a bit to disconnect and to set up by yourself. What you have to do is you have to have cameras so that you can see where everything is. You got to get out. You got to walk the site. You got to pre-plan. You pull in or you back in. Then you get out. You walk it. You look at your cameras. Make sure everything's in the right place. You have to test your connections to make sure they're close enough. Sometimes they put them all the way in the back of the RV. And a lot of the new RVs are starting to do that. Kind of makes sense, actually, that you can back in, have all your connections back there, and boom, get it done, instead of line them up on the side. But traditionally, 95% of the ones that are out there have them on the side. So all the campgrounds do too. So you got to make sure that the ones on the side get to where you want to be. Sewer is one of those things that sometimes is not in the right places. And power, not in the right place. Test it before you take it off your vehicle, especially if you're by yourself. Sometimes you can get people from the campground to help you, and that's helpful if you're by yourself. Otherwise, you need to have a spouse outside and get your radios out and be talking back and forth. And yes, it takes time to get, and I call it getting under the fifth wheel. So if I am trying to back it in and they're like, okay, go straight, I can't go straight immediately. I have to get the truck under the fifth wheel before I can go perfectly straight. So there's a lot of things that your partner or whoever has to learn too in the setup kind of stuff. One of the other big things that people ask me about is, how do you do doctors and emergency visits And yeah, I did I've fallen and I can't get up. And what do you do with all that? That's a little tougher sometimes. I have had to use emergency medical places with the COVID thing I just went through. I had to go in to emergency medical can't remember where. Oh, I was in Alabama, and I used an emergency medical there because I had a UTI, and so yep, you got to do that. And I've also learned that most of my doctors will do telemed. So I went in, got tested for my UTI. They gave me a prescription. I called my doctor. Finally, the doctor called me back and said, "Oh, finish the 10 days of what you're taking, but I don't think that's the right thing. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to get you a prescription for something else." It didn't. She gave me a prescription for something else that did work. So, and a lot of these places can get to your medical records because all your medical records are online. So that's helpful too. The thing about the thing about the middle of the night, you falling down and not being able to get up, make sure that your cell phone is within reach wherever you go and whatever you do. I have fallen, and it was a weird accident. I'm using my crutches, and one of the rugs, I hit it with my crutch. My crutch went sliding out, and I went flying. And all of a sudden, I am stuck on the floor. I had to figure out how to get up. Thank goodness, I could climb up on a chair and get up. What if I couldn't? Then I would have to call the ambulance for lift assist. What if I was hurt? I'd have to call the ambulance to get into the doctor's office. So the doctor thing is a little different. I just got notice that my dentist wants me in to pre-medicate for my dental appointment. I have to call them and say I'm not going to be there. And I'd already told them once that I probably wasn't going to be able to be there at that time, but we'll just change the appointment, and I have to be up in Michigan at a certain time anyway. So I'll get all that worked out when I go up there. So I do make visits up there. I see my doctor every 6 months, so I'm going to try to continue to make stops up there at least once a year, if not every 6 months, and get all those taken care of in a week or whatever it is. So that's the safety doctor issues. Mails, bills, mailing, getting things as simple as getting your Amazon packages. Not always as simple as you think. It depends on the campground. The campground I'm staying at right now is fantastic. I just put Dave Ersprung care of and the campground name and address. It comes here. They bring it into the fellowship hall, and I pick it up. And that's that easy. A couple of the places, the Sun Outdoors places I was at, you gave them your specific address with site number. They delivered it straight to it. Some places, if you're not staying over a certain amount of time, don't want you to have packages delivered. So you have to use the Amazon lockers if you're going to do that. As far as mail from home, I have somebody at home who gets my mail, opens it, tells me what's important and what's not, and forwards it to me or throws it away. That's very helpful. There's services that do that too. And you can go to those services. Escapees is one of them, and I belong to Escapees. I'm eventually going to pick a domicile, which means my home address, my home where I pay taxes, my home where I vote, all that kind of stuff. And you can pick places that don't have state tax or don't have, certain things, which is really convenient. Florida, South Dakota, Texas are very popular. They will also deal with your mail. They will also bundle it and send it to you, or they'll scan it and give it to you via email. But it all comes at a price. So you have to understand that mail is going to cost. The best thing to do is to have all your bills online and as much of your mail online as possible going to your email. So hopefully there's a copy that goes to your email from your mail automatically from the places that are trying to get a hold of you. If it's junk mail, then it falls through the cracks and you don't get it anyway, which is kind of nice. One of the other things that I've been asked a lot is contact with the family. That's a difficult one for a lot of people. You're now not in a standard location. So when somebody says, well, we always had Thanksgiving here. Can we have Thanksgiving with you, Dad? Yep. If you come here because this is where I am. Or you make it a tradition that you go at certain times of the year to certain places. This gives the kids a standard location for you to find you and to get a hold of you and to be with you. Or have the kids plan at their house and you swing by there for the holiday. We've done that too. One of the hardest ones was my oldest asked me to come and spend a week with my grandson, which I really wanted to do, and then I got COVID. And so I haven't been able to travel and make the plans to get up there. It just depends on where you are, how far away everybody is, and if they're in the cold north and you're down in the warm south. So that is a difficult one. And you've got to understand that it takes planning. All of this takes planning. You see some of these RVers that talk about seat of the pants. Seat of the pants is interesting and fun sometimes, but if you don't do the planning, your doctor's appointments, your family connections, all your security kind of stuff goes out the door. And it really is important to do all that planning, to make things ahead of time, to know what rallies you want to go to. I'm going to a rally in Colorado for Switch It Up, which is going to be a blast. So I know I'm doing that, and I'm going to be out west. I'll make some plans to do some things out west. So those are the kind of things that you need to plan and need to get on the calendar, is family and doctors and anybody that you're meeting. One of the number one thing I'm probably asked is loneliness. And it can be extremely lonely on the road. There have been places that I've felt like I was a prisoner inside my home because I didn't know anybody, there was no activities, there wasn't a town around, there was nothing to do for me. I would work, get out of work, watch a little TV, go to bed, get up, do it again. That has happened. However, I challenge everyone, if you're going to do this, do it right. Be an extrovert. Meet people. This campground is starting to get used to me because every day I get done with work, I jump on my scooter, I ride up and down every street, and I say hi to every single person. And in a lot of cases, I just start talking to them. I get to know them, find out where they're from. Hey, are you going to go to, and this place has bingo. It has Mexican train dominoes. It has a left, right, center dice. It does meals. We had breakfast this morning down at the fellowship hall. Wednesday we're having a barbecue dinner with brisket and squirrel and a lot of different things. So I think that you all need to make sure that if you're going to do this, you got to get out and meet people. And here's the result. I have created a list of people that I've met through this. I got a text about 2 weeks ago from some great people who we had a blast with at a rally, and I met them there. And they said, "Hey, you're from Michigan, we're going to be up in Illinois. Are we going to be close to you? And here's where we're going to be, and here's the dates we're going to be there. Let's meet up." And we're going to make an effort to meet up. And that's fun. You will find that you're going to meet people, you're going to create relationships, you're going to text back and forth and go, "Hey, I'm in Mississippi," which I am, and they're like, "Oh shoot, you already left Florida. We were going down to Lake Okeechobee to see if we could find you." And I honestly got texts like that. Well, it's because I have gone around and met people. I go to the rallies, that I find groups of people that I like, and I go to their rallies. I find that I meet people at the campgrounds. The person who's going to be spending time helping me, the new person on board here, I met in Alabama. And so it's somebody I met. They RV, I RV. They have problems with their RV. They need to sell it, but they want to stay on the road and don't have a house. And I said, "Hey, come with me, help me do some things, and you've got a spot." And so they're doing that. Those friendships you're going to make for life. I have now Zoom calls on Monday nights with groups of people that I've met RVing and love it. I have a blast with some of these people. And it's really important not to isolate yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get burned out. And you're going to find out, is it really worth it? And you're going to go, gosh, moving every week or two is hard. It is getting your stuff out. Getting the old Blackstone out so you can use it. Getting your chairs out, getting your rug out. And getting the RV put back the way it was supposed to be. And then all of a sudden, 3 days later, roll the rug up, take the Blackstone down, put the chair back in, stow everything inside the camper so it doesn't roll around, and get the cats, move them into the vehicle, and on we go. It is work. It is effort. And the only way it's worth it is the relationships you develop as you travel from place to place. Otherwise, you're not going to end up doing it for very long. The people that own this campground here in Mississippi, I'm in a little town called Bay St. Louis, right on the Gulf. And the people here were 5-year full-timers, found this campground, bought it, and they eventually want to go back to full-time again. Right now, they're having a blast meeting people, and they're doing it right here, which is nice. And there's a lot of people who, because of their connections on the road, they end up with a lot of friends. They end up with people who want to come and visit, all that kind of stuff. So it is the key to the whole thing, because you're going to either get tired of the work, you're going to get tired of moving from place to place, you're going to sit in one place forever, and you're going to be bored as anything. And the longest place I've stayed at, 2 of the longest places, one was at Thunder Canyon, that's owned by John and Mercedes, the RV Odd couple. And they had stuff going on. Probably every day there was a potluck lunch. About twice a week there were crafts and things we got together for. Thursday nights we went out to dinner. I mean, there was stuff going on a lot. Down in Florida, I stayed at a Sun Outdoors, and there were so many things to do, and I met a whole group of these fun Canadians. We played euchre constantly. We had karaoke nights. They had line dancing nights. All this kind of stuff that went on. And it's fun to get involved with all that. So by getting involved in all that, you expand your circle. You meet lots of people. Put them in your phone list. Make sure you text them and just once in a while say, hey, how you doing? Where you at? And it's a really rewarding thing. Otherwise, like I said, I've been at places where I felt like I was in prison. I'm stuck in my camper. I got nothing to do and no one to do it with. So please, think about these things before you take off. If you've got kids and a family and you're going to take off, you're going to have a lot to do, and it's going to be fun. And I meet a lot of people with at least one or two kids. If you're an older couple who there's two of you, you're not going to feel so secluded, but you both have to have that feeling. There's a couple right next to me right now who he likes going out and doing things. She only wants to watch TV. And then he decides, well, fine, then we're going to go back to our house in Minnesota and I'm going to sell the camper. And she's like, but I want to camp. And he says, this isn't camping. This is watching TV. And so they have this big argument going on about what they do because they're not compatible with the whole thing. So you got to be in sync with your partner and know what they like and what you like and make it work. So I just wanted to tell you and make it think. Make it so that you think before you jump. And I really appreciate all of you watching the channel. It is growing. I keep getting more and more subscribers every week. I really appreciate that. It's not just for me, it's for you guys. The more subscribers, the more views, the more YouTube puts us out there and other people find us. And if these videos strike you as something useful, please like, subscribe, and if you want to see the videos as they come out, hit the bell icon and you'll see them every time when I release them on Sundays. So I've been pretty good so far. Every Sunday we've had a new video, and everyone has done really well so far, and it's all you guys. So I really appreciate that. And the reason I'm doing this is because of my health. I've gone through a lot, and I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow in my life. I want to go out with gusto if I go out. So I'm having a ball. I hope that you guys can all do what you want to do, whether it's RVing or boating or whatever it is. You do those things too. So it's day one of the rest of your life. Not a dress rehearsal. You don't get to do it over again. This is it. When today's gone, it's gone. Tomorrow is not promised. So remember, day one. I will see you guys next week, and I'll have some more content for you. I think next week's going to be a little bit about this campground that I'm staying at. So you guys have a great one, and see you later.